morning, my beautiful people, Sales Hustler Nation, automotive industry. I'm coming back to you with some more stories, car sales confessions of my experience coming up in the automotive industry. Yes, that's a box behind me. It's got a bunch of Wise chips. We ordered like $40 worth of Wise chips, 2 different flavors, the New York style deli ones. Really delicious. My buddy wanted them, so I ordered a box, or 2 boxes actually. So with that being said, let's continue on with our car sales confession stories series, so to speak, right? So one of the things that happened to me was I got to a point where I just turned 21 years old. It was about 21 and a half, and I decided that I'm going to finally move to Florida to be with my parents. My father had some health issues. Decided, let me give it a shot. Felt a little homesick, needed to be, closer with my family too. So I packed up and I gave like a month's notice at my store, and I was selling cars. I won't forget this. My very last day before I went to move, my very last day, it was a snow day, and I won't forget that. We were selling cars, but it started to snow, and the next day I packed up and I moved to Florida. And I got to Florida. Now, mind you, a month before I moved there, I went to fly out, visit my family, and I interviewed for a couple jobs. I was obviously going to go sell cars, and I took a job. So as soon as I started, I took a job. I bounced around a little bit. I took a job at a Honda store, and I got offered 3 different jobs. I took a job at a Honda store. I had my heart set on it, and I realized that I wasn't really ready for it. I realized I was actually fairly green still, even though I had only been selling cars for just under 2 years. I was still fairly green. The reason why I felt green is because it felt so old school. I walked in and our cars have addendums on them and fees, and we're going back 2005 now, not like the market now. And so I didn't feel comfortable. I worked there for a couple of days. I took some ups, and I realized that for some reason I just had a hard time closing people, and maybe I needed to adjust. It was a different market, different type of clientele, and I had a hard time. I won't forget the store. It was Lucas Honda in Jacksonville, Florida. We didn't have any dealerships. My parents were living in Palm Coast, so or we did, but it wasn't anything appealing. So I was driving to work with my dad in the morning. So my dad would basically, like, I would go drop my dad off, and then I would go drive to work, and then I would come back and pick him up at night, and we would go. It was a 60-mile hike. And my dad was a master technician at Lexus Jacksonville. So I worked there for a couple of days, and the vibe wasn't there for me. So I ended up going to work at an Acura store, Duval Acura. Shout out to Kevin Snyder, very old friend, really great guy. He actually worked with my dad at the Lexus store, and he was the GSM at the time. I think now he's the vice president of the auto group. But I ended up getting hired there to be a salesperson. And at the time, we were really flooded. We had a separate internet department with an internet manager who was selling all the cars. We were flooded. We had a lot of salespeople. It was a beautiful dealership, though. Culture was great. The meetings were great. For some odd reason, every time I took an up, couldn't get them done. Like I would take an up, couldn't get them done. Like the credit was bad. And I don't know what it was. Again, another vibe issue. I spent 3 weeks there. I bought a car there, and I sold the car finally, delivered it to this gentleman's house. Everything was good. Everything was happy. The next morning, the guy loses his job, and the deal gets unwound. Like, I mean, I don't know if it was luck or what was going on. Maybe it was a mindset thing. Again, I was really young, and again, the vibe didn't mesh with me. And finally, I don't know what was up. Like, I did well selling cars in New Jersey. Like, is it Florida? I started to put a lot of blame on things, but really I just needed to adjust to the situation. Selling cars in Florida, selling cars in New Jersey were way 2 different things. And lo and behold, I end up finally, after trying to figure it out, I end up going to work in which is now called Auto Nation Honda of Sanford, which back then was called Courtesy Honda. And I ended up going there, and I ended up crushing it. And there's a lot of really cool stories that come with that job. But that is where I ended up really getting into automotive internet sales, internet process, and actually making my first $10,000 a month as an automobile sales professional. Just crazy experiences. So I think the lesson here is that we really need to study our craft. We need to understand our market. We need to understand people better, and we need to understand how to adjust. One thing I can tell you from all these years of working in dealerships, running dealerships, I've worked in some great ones, and I've worked in some really shitty ones. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, and I've also consulted, well over 100 dealerships. I can tell you that it's all about adjusting to your surroundings. If you can learn how to adjust, you're gonna do fine. It took me 3 months, but I adjusted and became great at what I do. And that's just the most important thing. So with that being said, I'll see you guys on the very next video. Damn, I'm just enjoying the sun right now. This weather's beautiful. But I'll see you guys in the next video, all right? Thanks so much. And don't forget to subscribe to this video or my channel. Thanks, guys.